You really sit down and think about it, there's one thing that you can control in your life, and that is your mindset. And that's why in today's video, I want to talk about how just one small mindset change changed my whole life for the positive. And that one small mindset change was taking personal responsibility. So let's rewind to sometime in late 2020, early 2021. I was in a position that many other people were also in, where I'd just come off the highs of college life, living alone, making tons of new friends, partying, drinking, everything. I had what I thought was freedom, and I was having a lot of fun. Now, after my senior year, I moved back in with my parents, and things completely changed. One, I had to live under my parents' roof again. Two, I had a job I really did not like at all. And three, I had outside expectations of everybody else telling me what I should do with my life and how I should live my life. And at this point, I had no clue what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, or what I was truly passionate about. I had always been somebody who dreamed big and wanted more out of life. But deep down, I was a very lazy person, and I had to work on breaking that habit. I wanted to make any excuse and find any reason to give up and just blame other people for why I was not successful or why I wasn't achieving or working towards my goals. So around this time, I did what many of us do, is given to vices. I started doom scrolling for hours on social media, listening to mind-numbing music and media, consuming and watching explicit and down bad content, and just overall not working towards anything I should have been doing and was living a down bad lifestyle. I started to realize that my dreams were just a fading memory. Thinking I was alone in these feelings and seeing a lot of people around me starting to achieve success, it definitely left me in a low state of mind. But I had one conversation with one of my best friends that really changed my perspective and put me on the right path. He told me that it's pretty normal to have these feelings, and a lot of my negative thoughts actually came from something called intrusive thoughts. As I learned more about what intrusive thoughts were, I realized that this is exactly how I was feeling, and it felt good to be able to put a name to what I was feeling. And I started to realize that this is something that affects many people, and I wasn't alone. In this moment, I realized I wanted to start a new chapter of my life. One thing that I really wanted to change my mindset on that helped me the most was taking personal responsibility for what I have in my life. I started to realize I'm in control of my life, and that was a very freeing experience. After that, I started my self-improvement journey and started to take accountability. Things started to slowly, gradually progress to where they are today. I started to feel free. Now, I'm not at the position I want to be. This isn't my end goal. I still have a long ways to go, but at this point in my life, I feel like I can actually say I will achieve my goals. Something I probably couldn't have said 3 to 4 years ago. One of the first things I did was starting to read again, and one of the first books I read was Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and he has some quotes that relate to personal responsibility that I found very inspirational. One of the ones that he says is, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Now this one really stuck with me because what he's trying to say is there's a connection between our thoughts and our overall well-being. This quote really encouraged me to start taking personal responsibility for cultivating positive and constructive thoughts, which ultimately would lead to a happier life. One thing I did after this was do a digital detox. This is something where I took personal responsibility, where I realized that negative thoughts are arising for me from social media. A lot of the arguments or fake arguments or the always toxic negativity that occurs on social media is causing me to feel down. It's causing me to feel like the world is a terrible place. Everything sucks and everything is negative, and there's no point in trying because only negative outcomes will happen. Taking personal responsibility in the sense that that's not reality. I can change my own outcome. And taking that step to deleting most of my social medias and taking a break really helped me see the positivity in the world and start to become more positive, which helps you get better outcomes. The power of positivity is real, and that was one step that I took that really showcased why taking personal responsibility was so key in my life. Marcus Aurelius talks a lot about the thoughts you have and how it can affect you. He also said, our life is what our thoughts make of it, and you have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realizing this, and you will find strength. Taking these stoic quotes and applying them to my life and just starting to take accountability and responsibility of my life, I started to see these small wins. And as I started to see the small wins stack up, I realized how beneficial this is. Taking ownership and personal responsibility over your life really gives you a sense of freedom. I started to see this in many aspects of my life. I wanted to meet new people, and rather than waiting for other people to come approach me and talk to me and become friends with me, and then being mad at the world that people aren't friendly anymore, I started to take self-accountability, put that first step, make that first connection, make that first move, and I started to make more friends. I started to change my mindset of one who saw an issue in my life and looked to just offload that blame or reason it's happening on some outside factor or some outside people, and started to think, what can I do to make it better? Now, not every single problem you have in your life is gonna be able to be fixed by just taking accountability. There's definitely things that are out of people's controls, but a vast majority of things you can, even if you take self-accountability and the problem isn't resolved, you'll definitely be in a better place than you were before. I personally went from somebody who was complaining a lot to someone who was more positive and felt that I could achieve more. The hardest part about this mindset is taking that first step. But once you make that shift, your life will definitely become better. At the end of the day, wouldn't you rather say you tried and possibly failed than never having tried at all? I know I would.